Welcome back. Oh, welcome back to Bronze League Heroes with double the heroes. 2 versus 2 with double the trouble, double the plays, and double the, stories of heroism that will be told throughout the comments and the chats and for many weeks to come. First, let's introduce our team of not both Terrans, the Terran and the Zerg. In the bottom right is Flocky in the red, teamed up with Starwalker, our only non-Terran player in the match. And to the north, we have Flea and Beige Carpet, which is quite a name. It appears that Flocky, his first efforts, a true hero, engineering bay before barracks. Gonna wall all of the potential entrances. You can tell he's played 2v2 before. We're on Emerald City, which is probably my favorite of the 2v2 maps. It's a community-created map. I'm sure we're gonna put it through its paces here. But there are some easily accessible natural bases. There are plenty of bases to work on. There's a gold mineral base for each side as well. And then the middle's pretty open, but you got a lot of bases off to the side. So unlike most team game maps, you can actually expand more than like once without already butting up against your opponents. And I think Flocky's going to need all the minerals he can get to make sure that's covered by turrets. As we have, he's very committed, despite his opponents also being Terran players. Now, who knows? Maybe he doesn't know. He is committed to making sure they do not get into Scout, nor to run by Hellions, and also, importantly, no one gets out. Which might be unfortunate if Starwalker wants to, say, move his Zerglings to the other side of the map, but we will see. What is Team Terran up to? They have a couple factories. We're throwing. It looks like they're copying each other's build, but they're trying to catch up to one another. They've got a plan. I'm assuming. It looks like the depot was lowered in order to let Starwalker out. Lair is the choice. We're gonna have to keep an eye on Starwalker as time goes on, being our only non-Zerg. Non-Terran. How hard was that? Beige Carpet going to make sure he does not get supply blocked for quite a while. Whereas Flea has been supply blocked. Oh, well. He just finished up a new fancy depot. Calm start. I want to thank Stealth Duck for judging this one worthy. And as always, if you enjoyed it, give him a mild amount of credit. And if you didn't, well, it's his fault. Flocky gonna go ahead and try to lay his claim to essentially everything on this side of the map. He's racked up another gas geyser, slapping down a factory. And a 4-Marine hit squad makes its way across the map. The Terran Republic Commandos on their way. Now, against multiple... they're definitely trying to copy each other, which becomes a little awkward as they continually go in circles with the build. But now, Flea will catch up when it comes to building a starport. But what does Beige Carpet have? Or what does Flea have that Beige Carpet does not? It actually just seems like Flea's a little slower on the build. Alright, so Siege Tank's a worthy foe. It's going to make it a little more difficult to, say, do anything. 2 more factories. Flocky, we're going to go... I guess he's going back. I would, if I had to guess. Meanwhile, all these units on a bit of a weird patrol. Oh, well, the Zerglings have eventually been eliminated. And, of course, now... I've been known to be critical of Mutalisks, but 2v2 changes the game. 2v2 unlocks a lot of... air units in general are very strong because you usually have a player who can cover you on the ground. Like, say, having a bunch of siege tanks. That way you don't need to worry so much about having ground units to deal with things like Marines. So Mutalisk, a strong choice potentially, especially if these Terrans ever want to move out. Meanwhile, Planetary Fortress at the Natural, classic choice. All we're waiting for now is that high-sec auto-tracking upgrade to make sure we're at maximum effectiveness. Beige Carpet loads up a double drop. He might be heading across the map. A sensor tower will, well, or not. He's going to take the long roads. Pings for days. As Flea pings out the Marines and the one siege tank, which will boldly go where no tank has gone before. Which is up a ramp into siege tanks, mostly because that is lost to the sands of time, because they die horribly. Corruptors are the choice. A curious one from Starwalker, who has a... So, making the absolute most of their utilizable base space. As everyone knows, you can't build on slime. So Starwalker has now expanded, but only after Flocky has established his production on said slime zones, therefore allowing him to actually have buildings on the creep. Just a next level play here by this team. Unfortunately, though, speaking of next level plays, above fly some medevacs. The Marines box them out for now. There's a couple tanks waiting. The medevacs warded away. Meanwhile, the 2 Marine, 1 tank contain continues. A lot of patrol action. Meanwhile, it appears Flocky, indicating that there's a threat of a drop. The TPM has raised. Oh, and the high-sec auto-tracking is in the production tab. Oh, the Corruptors are on the chase, but the medevacs are heading towards the main. They're not scared of no Zerg. The medevacs will unload. The target fires there on the first one. 4 go down with it. The second one, though. Does he have stim? He does. He stims. What is there to defend? He's going straight for the Spire. Starwalker will now spend a few of his precious few minerals in order to build a handful of Zerglings. A queen marches to her death. Meanwhile, though, 3 tanks. He lifts up. A few men will be left behind. Is he going to drop on the tanks? Oh, he finds the sweet spot. Unfortunately, that sweet spot also has a bunch of Zerglings in it. He did find the perfect place where not a single tank, and now everyone dies. That turret came out of nowhere with high-sec auto-tracking, a beautiful flank. Great, I gotta say again, great space utilization from the Variety team. From Starflocky. We have Team Terran and Team Starflocky. I think that's the obvious team names here. Simple enough. Meanwhile, 3 Banshees from Team Terran. What is there to stop them? There is no detection besides this orbital. He's building 2 armories and a bunch of depots. Tanks don't shoot up. And even if he did have detection, the only thing he could really hope for is... He's now building... He's building Widow Mines. Oh, a turret! There's a turret in the main! It gets 1! They're Widow Mines. The Widow Mines have a chance. The Banshees uncloak, realizing there is no threat. But now a threat has appeared. Are they... He's trying to hide him. He's giving up Starwalker's base. Dun 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 dun. He's hiding them behind the factories. Oh, the Banshees. Can never be too careful. He's trying to out-micro the hatchery. Widow Mine. A couple turret hits. Unfortunately, Starwalker knocked right back down to 1 base. The Banshees, another Widow Mine. Goes down. Another Widow Mine comes up. Not as bold as the first few. That is a very optimistic Widow Mine, but it's gonna get a hit! Down goes a Banshee. They were clicked onto the barracks. He takes down the Widow Mine. The other one just wants a piece of this. Oh, He's gonna try to build turrets under the Banshees, which is... I mean, that's a strat. Oh, meanwhile, Widowmine hit. The splash damage spreads just so much that he barely doesn't kill. Is there a scan? Where is the scan? There's the scan. Down they go. Star Flocky survives. But Team Terran has built up back at home. The Corruptors significantly late to the party. The TPM continues to raise. We're at 12 turrets and only 10 minutes. Over 1 turret per minute. Here come some more Banshees. They're going to go straight for the turret. They take it down. A second one, but the Corruptors can match. Where's the cloak? There's the cloak. Begs his teammate for a scan. Where's the scan? Give him a scan. He scans. The Banshees. Oh, there's an Overseer. And down goes a second one. He's trying to skirt the edges. That's not how scans work. Or is it? Oh, but he drives them into the turrets. He corrals the Banshees into the turrets. A great move there from Team Star Flocky. Star Walker very close to the right spot to put that hatchery for maximum mining saturation, but maybe he just wants to spread the creep and spread the love. And obviously, this is to make sure the turret ring can be even better protected and thicker on the outside. A scan. Wait, who was that from? There's so many Terrans, and they didn't, for some reason, they didn't play on the WCS Game Heart mod on the ladder. And we can't tell whose scan is whose anyways. Just take a guess. Meanwhile, the tanks were not spotted by the scan. There's a huge bioforce, but they haven't seen the tanks. There's a no-go of tanks right now. 6 tanks. You are not going up that ramp. You are not. One way or another, you are not. It looks like SCVs were transferred to the top right base via medevac. Oh my god, 3 more. Now some tanks come up from beige carpet. The tanks. Oh no! They came too close! One will survive with 4 HP. Honestly, that's probably cheaper to lose 2 tanks than it is to run up that ramp. A scan from Flocky. Flocky wants to attack the Widowmine. A laudable goal. How do you plan to accomplish that? Meanwhile, all roads eventually lead to battlecruisers. He's utilizing half of his starports, as he doesn't have enough trained mechanics in order to develop them at both, which is a worker shortage in the Caprulu sector. The Corruptors trying to bait into the mines. Not taking the bait. Is Team Terran going to put more Marines into the medevacs? Is that intentional? Only time will tell. Is this... It's something resembling... There's a sensor tower from Flocky. This is something resembling a contain. It appears that medevacs keep getting loaded up, though. I'm not entirely convinced beige carpet wants to do a drop. Scanning forward. They see the mines. This could still go poorly. This is going to go very poorly. Oh, they thought they had the mines. Instead, they had murder. Well, they were murdered. Never... a lot of people died. A lot of Marines died. That's the summary. You saw that. You were there. The tanks trying to flank. They're within sensor tower range, but they find a spot. Suddenly. Oh, they need another scan for vision. Oh, he scans back. The vision wars have begun. Another counter scan. The siege tanks firing over the top. Starting to make some progress. Taking down the turrets. Pings coming out, I think, from both sides. And the tanks. Is that in range? Yes. Down they go. Any upgrades? Beige Carpet has 3/3 Marine Marauder right now. The only other basic upgrade is +1 attack from from Flea. Starflocky, Team Starflocky does not have any upgrades, but Zergling speed, high-sec auto-tracking, and building armor. So, a difference of opinion in how to go about this game, I would say. Oh, a medevac. The Corruptor Micro off the charts. Starwalker banking up plenty of minerals for someone who has barely more drones than they started with. Muta's added in. A dangerous proposition. The Team Terran contain continues. Beige carpet. Well, the main bases are mostly mined out, especially for the Terrans. The scarcity of resources will force these... Uh-oh. Little do they know, right on the edge of the vision. A scan. But battle cruisers! Battle cruisers! But they're already corruptors. How many... Are there enough corruptors? Liberators. Liberators are sieging up. The tanks will pull back. Beige carpet finding a good option. The Liberator's going to go down. The tanks will re-siege. The Marines just going for it. Unfortunately, not all of them got the memo. Meanwhile, the Mutas found a base in the top right. The battlecruisers jump into the fray. The Mutas are a little easily distracted. Yamato cannon. Maybe overkill. But all the SCVs died at that base. So I would call that mostly a success. Yeah, sure, the Mutas died, but doing anything is a great day for Mutas. Meanwhile, the tanks shelling, driving back the tanks of Beige Carpet. What they don't have in upgrades, they make up for in coordination. The Corruptor tank moves here, mono-battling their way through. Starwalker with the impeccable Corruptor Micro, making sure to give vision without taking undue risks. The leapfrogging continues. There are some Vikings. Oh, not quite enough to kill. The Cyclones battlecruiser showing up to the fray. They already used tactical jump. It's on cooldown for 20 more seconds. Starwalker covering Flocky as he leapfrogs across the map. Flea and Starwalker playing support in this game right now. Unfortunately, though, for Team Starflocky, one, there's like 20 siege tanks back at home. Oh, the tanks. This was an ambitious move forward, as there just aren't that many tanks sieged. But he baits them into the larger group of tanks. There are 23 siege tanks. The choke point. The only tiny choke point. He runs right through it. The Corruptor still being microed with a fury. Oh, one Viking goes down. Another Viking. Great great Corruptor micro. Target firing Vikings. Forced to pull back, though. Vikings from both sides. Reinforcements joining the fray. More tanks come up. He unleashes another group. The Corruptors targeting the Vikings. And mostly standing their ground. They might not have upgrades, but neither do the Vikings. That medevac is on. Oh, it has 150 HP. It just has no energy. Oh, maybe the Corruptor count is getting a little thin to deal with those Vikings. But Marines are baited into the tanks! They all die horribly! As opposed to dying peacefully. Much better. Uh-oh, the Corruptor count is down to 10. It's getting to the point where the Vikings are maybe too much. All the Corruptors have finally gone down, and Team Terran drives back Starflocky in the middle of the map. The Cyclones on the chase, and now they're dead. The battle cruisers reign supreme in the skies. There is no more air to ground unless you should not count Vikings. But the battle cruisers create a uncomfortable proposition here, as they will force the siege tanks out of position. Widow Mines are the choice. Does he have drilling claws? Of course not. He has finished 1-1 for the tanks. Team Terran is consolidating their forces. They've taken some more bases, which means they are not going to mine out of their first two bases. In fact, Starwalker transfers half of his drones, which is about 7 drones. A Vendaya scan in the main as well. A jump. Something jumped. The battlecruisers jump onto a spore crawler. They Yamato it immediately. Flee. Where are the Corruptors? He's chasing an overseer. The battlecruiser's easily distracted. As the Overseer leads him deeper into the jungle, from which there is no escape, but little does he know. Meanwhile, some long-distance mining. Is there a base on the way? No. The Corruptors. Oh, wait. Oh, he escaped from the jungle. The extractor mines out just before the battlecruisers get here. And both battlecruisers will die. He's going to build a command center on location. There are 27 tanks for Flocky. Team Terran has started to expand pretty aggressively onto the map. The long-distance mining continues. Not like Flocky is really running out of minerals, though. The cost-effectiveness is there for Star Flocky, and it really, really needs to be. Because otherwise, they'd... Well, it's 3-3 and now 1-1. Slowly, Flea is getting upgrades. 2-2 is coming up for Flocky, and even +1 air weapons, as these players slowly unlock the upgrades 20 minutes into the match. A scan. Whose scan is that? That appears to be Flocky's scan, as he moves a little bit further forward. He doesn't have drilling claws. He might be signaling for the Corruptors for a masterful bait. Indeed he does. The coordination impeccable. The splash damage is ridiculous here on the ground. If he could just get those Marines and Marauders to stim in. He's going to siege up on top of the tanks. Oh my god. Another punishing volley. There's just a no-go zone here. He's gonna try to drag the Vikings. The Vikings undeterred. More Marines loaded up into medevacs. Still, not intentionally, I don't think. He's gonna target fire. He really wants them to go into those medevacs. The Vikings being microed. The APMs in the dozens. The combined APMs about 120 for each team as they put everything they have on the table. That tank. Oh, there's just a tank mass. There's a Zergling. There's 2 Zerglings trapped within the tanks. The Vikings chase down. +1 flyer attack is done. Star Walker targeting down Vikings. He's kind of out-microing himself just a little bit, but here comes the reinforcements, the Corruptors! They were doing so well until they weren't. The Widowmine's trying to move into position to intercept on the retreat. It might work. Meanwhile, Widowmine against Widowmine. Siege tank against siege tank. Terran against Terran. Oh, and he comes down Flea. Trying to find an angle. Flocky is maxed out. So is Beige Carpet. Their support players not very close. Though Flea's doing a little better. Not that much. Star Walker still at 13 drones. Oh, he's coming down the ramp. And the tanks ripping into them. Oh, almost every Marine is obliterated. And suddenly Flea is knocked back down to 75%. 78 supply. Come on. The standoff on Emerald City. This ain't the Wizard of Oz. It's a nightmare story. Even though the Wizard of Oz was kind of dark, if you think about it. There's a lot of murder. But that was the Depression. Anyways. Star Walker. Ish. A big drop. Loaded up. Venn Dia scan in the main. Going for the backstab. Flocky is maxed out. Star Walker not so much. He dives. The big drop comes in. The Spire is vulnerable. I don't think 6 Zerglings are going to be enough here. He might be able to take out the medevacs, but he's going to lose a lot of Corruptors for that. The Spire itself. Oh, wait. Where is he going? Okay. Here comes some tanks. I don't think the Spire will be saved, but the Hive itself might be. Oh, God. Those tanks have 2-2. Oh, my God. Oh, Jesus. It's a massacre. 1 tank goes down. The stand-up. Flea built 16 give or take barracks. It's Rack City now, not Emerald City. He's gonna up his production. He's gonna go from 2 to 17 barracks. The barracks explosion. I've never seen this many barracks on one screen before. Are they ready for dozens of 1-1 Marines striking from the flank? Unfortunately, siege tanks are able to move their turrets pretty fast, so I don't know how effective it will be, but it can't hurt. Meanwhile, another Spire. Starwalker all the way up to 17 growth. Scans forward. Flocky begins the siege line. They're reaching the center mark. This is the furthest they've ever gone. But they cannot stop here. There's still much more to go. The SCVs, the boys, a scan like, excuse me, why are there so many SCVs? The Widow Mines within the barracks. Oh, and underneath the medevacs who barely fly away in time. But the medevacs are heading towards the main where tanks are already sieged. Flocky's mostly mined out. The Marines pop out to a world of death and destruction. Meanwhile, the medevacs, no! Everyone dies inside the medevacs without even a chance. The Widow Mines cutting everything off at the knees, sometimes in the head, sometimes from the side. The end result is the same. Scans from both. I honestly don't know who's scanning at this time. It could be both sides. Meanwhile, the Widow Mines recharge just as the scan runs out. Oh no, they'll get maximum damage. Tanks moving to intercept with the Corruptors. The minefield gets maximum damage. The tanks have nothing to shoot but a command center which evaporates. The battle cruisers are no match. They have 0-0 upgrades against 1-1 and Corruptors are designed to counter them. The tanks will move into the city. There will be no survivors. The barracks lift. The Corruptors finally with a purpose. One very, very ambitious Zergling getting involved. Does not survive. The Rack's in full retreat. Meanwhile, though, the Widow Mine's in the center of the map. Gonna connect. He's just kind of moving into him. It looks like enough Marines will survive that the Widow Mine... No, wait! No, the scan ran out! He still doesn't have drilling claws. The tank mass is working. Team Terran driven back by Starflocky. A great... How many? He's got 29 turrets. Almost 1 TPM here. Of course, some turrets have been lost. Starwalker playing perfect support here as we move into the bot lane. Besides that one, more scans. Just take a guess on who's scanning. Like, we'll see what happens based on who's shooting at who. Meanwhile, a handful of Marines are here. The barracks in flight. But will they burn? Will it burn? It's very likely. The tanks taking out the Marines. And the barracks, at the end of the day, it looks like it's gonna burn! Down it goes. This is an awkward position. The Liberator's moving in to flank the tanks. The Corruptors are out of position, but the tanks move away from the Liberators in time. The Corruptors need to move. There's not much anti-air. The Widow Mine's getting involved. They're behind enemy lines. The Corruptors. There's Liberators right there, sir. He takes them down. You gotta be careful. The Liberators don't even... Okay, maybe 1 or 2 shots. A couple more Liberators move up. The tanks obliterate the orbital. The barracks are back to get a closer look. Meanwhile, the medevacs taking the worst possible pathing. The ground army engages head on. Besides the ones that go the wrong way, everything dies. Just trickling into a slaughter as the tanks. The barracks won't save you. The Widow Mines are too strong as well. There's a planetary at the front. But meanwhile, the battle cruisers are in the main of Flocky. They're It's something we could maybe consider a base trade, depending on your literal definition. There are 5 battlecruisers in the main. I don't think there are enough corruptors. Oh my god! The entire bio army just melts. Masses of Marines go flying. Dozens of barracks are pumping out Marines, but tanks are pumping out death at an even more rapid pace. The battlecruisers, the boys will try to counter the battlecruisers with mass construction. Will the battlecruisers actually be able to take them down in time? He's trying to flank the cruisers with turrets. The corruptors come back to defend. 14 turrets at a time, but the corruptors on their own might be enough. They have 1-1 upgrades, and the battlecruisers were already pretty badly bruised. But that means the corruptors are not here anymore. The battlecruiser jumps away. Where did it go? I have no idea. It jumped back to the main. Back to home base. It recalled. But this did stall out the tank push. Maybe that means these Marines will get the damage done. The answer? No. That's going to be a no. The tanks, 21 kills, 19, 25, 27, 29, 23, 30. Hundreds of kills on these tanks. 170 and 230. 400 Marines lost between Team Terran. But there's still a ways to go. Starwalker playing a beautiful support game thus far. But can he close it out? Oh my god! The Marines are walled off by another massive fleet of rats. How many barracks does he have? He's got 20 wrecks. Four Thors are here. He's getting +3 weapons as well. Flocky doesn't neither. Nobody really has that much money. They're hurting for something, whether it's gas or minerals. Oh, the Viking count is too high. And if they can take air control, the battle cruisers can move in and engage the tanks. A Marine group is sending across the map. There's still tanks at home. It's just Marines with 1-1. But the only upgrade they don't have is the one that lets them give any fucks. Well, that did not go incredibly great for the Marines, but some survive. Upgraded siege tanks are pretty good. Pretty good counter. Thors pounding through the Marines one at a time. Unfortunately, they have to single target. Widow mines coming out from beige carpet as well. The corruptors move the armies of Starflocky combined, looking for an opportunity. The Thors clean up the Marines. Starflocky in prime position to maybe take this one home. The tanks continue to rack up the death count, the murder count. So many Marines. Will these be the Marines who make the difference? Will these be the Marines who break the siege? The Vikings engaging head-on. He's got +1 ship weapons. Progress is being made. Some Marines showing up to the party. They're going to regret being invited. Yeah, any moment now these tanks may run out of ammunition. Or, of all the things, a nuclear missile is being constructed by Flea. And if anything can break a siege line, the nuclear option might be it. Thors have finally taken out the top right base, which has been mined for quite a time now. Starwalker still on 17 drones. He's out of gas. He has no more gas to mine at his bases. The Thors getting chipped away, though the Liberators are very important. The army in kind of a weird spot here. The Corruptors boxing out. The Liberators trying to get involved and kill the Corruptors, but the Thors also throwing in their strong opinions. And so far, Flocky's army will hold. Flea, it all rides on one ghost. Cloak is being researched. You can't build a nuke and Cloak at the same time. But will the nuke save him? Will Team Terran from the ashes of a nuclear hellfire, be able to put together a comeback. It looked like they had everything, but the power of the coordination of the siege tanks and the corruptors. A beautiful support and ADC game here from Team Starflocky, but now tanks will answer. The Ghost! The Ghost is too close! But there's another one. There's one more. He's rebuilt. Flea is holding on. Oh no, the Marines! And the tanks, they're starting to go up against some of their own kind. Which, well... The standoff continues. There's one way this could be broken. Cloak is 10 seconds out. This is the moment. A scan. Cloak is not ready yet. He's holding. Cloak is done. It's finished. Unfortunately, though, for all of us, the siege is effectively broken. But the nuclear missile is launched to finish what the tank started. Does he see the red dot? It appears he does. And the forces of Starflocky will be forced into a total retreat. Team Terran has held. But at what cost? Is there another nuke ready? No. 2 more are being built. Flocky has some money in the bank. Battlecruisers jump! The Marines finally get a taste of the action. Unfortunately, they're still going to get eaten up by the Widow Mines there. The tanks will siege a nuclear missile directly on top of them. But they're going to take their pounds of flesh while they're at it. The tanks will unsiege. The nuke is canceled. Or he maybe killed the Ghost. It looks like based on the Ghost body being dragged along by siege tanks, I'm going to go with the second one. He sieges the tanks again. A tactical withdrawal. Will actually take out a few tanks. But Team Terran strikes back with a vengeance. They don't have many minerals in the bank. They're not maxed out. Starwalker has no units. He has 5 Zerglings. It's up to Flocky. Thors are here. Flocky now against the combined forces of Team Terran. It was looking so good. They knocked on the door of victory. But defeat still calls to them from the distance. Will they be able to break through? Or will it all crumble? 37 minutes and still no closer to declaring an ultimate victor. Starwalker gonna take for the very first time in his StarCraft career a 3rd base. The tank siege. He goes a little too close. A lot of Marines getting up in the fray. The drones. Undeterred. The battlecruisers jump! What? Where did they go? Oh! Hey, 2 of the battlecruisers. There's still a whole bunch of turrets. Remember the turret containment. The turret containment field. Still over 1 TPM at 52. But the tanks on both sides. A no man's land. Because no man's will survive. Will the turret containment be enough? Another scan. He spots the mass Marine. Where is the Ghost? There are no ghosts. The battle cruisers gonna Yamato a depot. That depot had it coming. Meanwhile, Flea has 87 Marines, 2 battle cruisers, 2 liberators, and a nuke. Meanwhile, Home Depot being assaulted. What was once his home is now full of depot. I'm not even sure he can get... I think his siege tanks are trapped, which means probably Thors cannot get in. The depots will, very slowly, because they have building armor against unupgraded battlecruisers. The Thors can't get in! The turret containment field is too strong! It's too strong! They cannot pass! He tries to break through! He opens up... Nope, okay. He may not know about... He kills that one for good measure. He could have just canceled it. He may not know about high impact mode, which really does a number on the battlecruisers, but the battlecruisers jump home. Alright, we've lost Team Terran. Took a second. They huddled up. Occasionally these players conferring with one another. Taking some time. The unit's lost. Team Terran has lost almost double. But they've also mined almost double. A Venn scan to spot those tanks. They're unsieged. Is this the moment? No, the Corruptors say no. The Marines say, oh yeah. Oh, another nuke is on the way. Are there any ghosts? No. Wait, did he launch a nuke? Or did he lose a ghost? Did he launch a nuke somewhere? I guess. There's no ghost, though. Maybe it got killed. Almost certainly got killed. There's so many Marines out here. Despite over almost 600 Marines dying. That will not be the end. In fact, it may only be the beginning. There's still a lot of minerals left on this map. Still several bases left unmined. Starwalker is mining from a third base. Achievement unlocked. Oh, Flocky from the high ground. The Marines! Watch out! Oh, no! My God! More damage than a nuke! Oh, another wave! Oh, Jesus Christ! Oh, the battlecruisers jump on top. It appears they've had enough. Flee! Still not really comprehending. The turrets get the tanks. Oh! Oh! Well, now that counter is at well over 700. Did a tank die? I think maybe one. The resources lost is nearing 100,000 for Team Terran. It's still under 50k for Starflocky. Jesus. Don't stray too close. Remember what happened to your 17 brothers here. But it's time. He's gonna launch the nuclear missile! That could change everything. Does he see it? Does he see the ghost? He'll unsiege. Oh, everybody sees it. But that will break the siege. The nuke parts the Red Sea. The Red Siege, rather. I apologize. But another one. The Thors dance to the other side. He can't find the ghost. And Starwalker's hard-fought third is now under fire. A couple drones go down. A queen survives. Are there more nukes? 2 more nukes in the production tab. Flocky still has a ridiculously strong army. So does well, actually, Flocky's army is by far he's at 6,000 minerals and 4,300 gas of value in this army. Everyone else combined doesn't have that much gas. And the minerals aren't that too far off either. So pretty much, you gotta beat Flocky if you want to win this game. And he's got money in the bank. He can keep producing. And he is. The Thor's well, a ghost spotted. A little too close. The nuclear missiles. They're online. Another one. Unfortunately, though, under the guise and watchful eye, the queen remembers. Never again! She says. I'm sorry. I didn't. Well, I mean, that's what she said. Okay, I'm just here to translate. Meanwhile, the queen. No! I said it before. I'll say it again. Never. My babies. The Vikings snipe the Overseer. Priority target. Unfortunately, the ghosts are dead. Meanwhile, this fight is happening as both players micro. In come Marines. Flocky, nowhere to be seen. The siege line. The battle continues. Starwalker down to 26 supply. Flocky, nowhere to be seen to save him. The tank count, 24 with 9 Thors. The standoff continues. Finally, Flea finds a target for his Marines after losing 371 of them. The Thors are here, but only well after Starwalker Down to 7 drones. The Thors decide, no, look away. Turn your back. Starwalker spends his last few minerals on Mutas. This is a very optimistic drone transfer. 2 drones. He says, okay, I know what the ticket is. 6 more Mutas. Meanwhile, that's an orbital command! The entire Terran army! Flocky will move everyone! All the siege tanks, 18 kills. Not all of them are new, some of them are new tanks. He will siege. As everyone knows, you're not allowed to attack if you're not siege. And down go the Marines in a pretty satisfying line. Meanwhile, a triple drop heads towards the main. The tanks that were stuck there before remain. As the map, okay, it's starting to mine out. Beige carpet has money in the bank. Flocky does as well. The carries of the teams. The support players, well, Starwalker is essentially out. He's got no minerals. He's got no base. He's got 6 Mutas and 7 Zerglings, which is something you can have. This SCV transfer from Flea. He's already hurting for minerals. This isn't going to make it any easier. He's got 1 ghost. Does he have any nukes? No. He builds a battlecruiser. The barracks. Shanty town. Not even add-ons for these barracks. They couldn't afford them. Yes, he will make sure those barracks don't get away. The siege tanks raining down hellfire. Meanwhile, though, a massive drop in the main. A battlecruiser flanked. The drop does not realize there are tanks. The tanks go, well, they're doing a whole lot of damage, but I don't know if they're enough. He target fires the pool, giving the tanks another volley. A Widow Mine getting in on the action. The turrets are killing the medevacs, but the bio army survives. The tanks are moving forward. A few more Widow Mines. The main base has nothing but depots and turrets. And also the armories that he doesn't really need anymore. Meanwhile, Flocky's army still relatively uncontested. Flea is down to 48 supply. The support players are on a respawn timer. Another Widow Mine connects. If only there was drilling claws, this game might look different, but not nearly as compelling. Battlecruiser still tearing through those depots, whereas the siege tanks are removing the barracks. Beige Carpet is pulled back with tanks of his own. The barracks are dying very, very, very quickly. Most of the drop has kind of petered out here. Meanwhile, tanks on both sides. The tanks are everything. Oh no, the Thors are in range of the tanks! The tanks aren't sieging in a timely manner! They're going around the barracks! Oh, the Thors pull back. Oh my god, the micro. Meanwhile, though, the battlecruisers jumped in to reinforce the attack on the main. Marines drawn into their death, but we've seen that before. Oh no, the move command with select all army for both sides! Through everything that was left! The high-sec auto-tracking turrets take out 1 battlecruiser! Whose Widow Mines are those? Those are beige carpets. The tank standoff can. Oh no! More bio units! He sims! He says, have at them, boys! Beige carpet has money in the bank, but Flocky. 169 supply, doing a nice job of pushing through the Mutas. Have a tough day. Wait, where are the Thors? Where did the Thors go? Oh no, the battlecruiser, undeterred. There's nothing to stop it. It might take a while. There's a ghost as well. A little more ambitious than the battlecruiser, I would say. You're probably gonna want to cloak that thing. Please cloak it so we can get our memes and no longer have them. They're dead. It's dead. Flea barely has enough. Starwalker's at 8 supply. He's got 1 drone, and he's got a dream. He's going to mine from the scraps of the top right, as the bottom left is also being mined out by Team Terran. The units lost 120,000 for Team Terran, whereas Starflocky barely reaching over 60k. The main base of Starwalker has been eliminated. The mech armies are headed for a final clash. A final clash? I've said that. I haven't said that before, but the tanks. How many? 23. The bulwark. A lot of sharing and caring happening here between the Terrans as they scratch out whatever minerals they can out of Emerald City. A moment of relative calm. As we near the 1 hour mark. A message from our sponsors. Did you know? Did you know? Like and subscribe, and you can find more videos just like this one. Or you could use the fucking search bar like a civilized human being. But according to YouTube stats, about 80% of people just have whatever's shoved down their faces by the YouTube algorithm. So with that, make sure to ring the bell, because it'll shove my content directly into your face. Thank you for watching, like, subscribe, and now we're back to the game! We're back in the action. The tanks at a standoff. There's very little anti-air. I mean, air to ground on either side. The battle cruisers trying to slowly chip their way through the depots and the turrets. Doesn't quite kill a turret, but it gets damn close. Thors are coming back. The battlecruiser's jump is off cooldown. The Thors are blasting. He jumps! I mean, there are not that many units left for him to control. He has 21 SCVs and 3 battlecruisers. Without enough money for another command center. What are the incomes? Beige Carpet has minerals and gas. Flocky just minerals. He's run out of gas. He's got a little bit in the bank. Beige Carpet is maxed out, and he's still mining. But we may, well, there's still bases here. The thing is, Team Terran has mined out both the bottom left and the top right, leaving Starflocky in a very precarious situation where, despite losing half the resources, they're struggling. Well, Starwalker has been struggling since this game started. But Flocky he's not maxed out, but he does have some of the most experienced siege tanks in the business. How is he going to break the siege tanks of his opponent? If he can move in range while there's not a scan, he might have a dream. You got to be careful here. That might be enough. That might be the range. Where's the scan? Oh, the volley! The damage! He gets a couple! Down they go. And also the Marines getting involved! Oh no! So many more drawn into the fray. Meanwhile, the battlecruisers, where did he get 5 battlecruisers from? Jump into the main. Flocky making so much progress. Starwalker decided with his last drone he would build another hatchery. A bold move. And now Zerglings, very optimistic as well. Oh, down goes one battlecruiser to turrets, but the rest doing pretty well. Both flavors of cloak are done. Just if you remember, if you hearken back to the beginning, just 40 minutes ago with the Cloak Banshees, that started it all. Oh yeah, there's a chance. Remember, you can trade minerals and gas. They could give each other money. I had neglected to consider that, but teams this beautifully coordinated, for sure, have tried something of that sort. But now Banshees are the choice from Beige Carpet. The Thors are heading home, leaving the tanks undefended against the skies. But the battlecruisers... Oh, down goes another one. The battlecruisers are retreating. They also can tactical jump. He jumps away. The Thors left wondering, where did they go? He heads back to the front. The Banshee did not choose this moment to strike. The bottom left is mined out. How many bases aren't mined out? That's what we should count. The gold. This still is pretty full. And then This base is relatively fresh. As well as the... Okay, so there's still like 4 bases. A scan spots the long-distance efforts of Flocky. I don't know who's scanning. Okay, just take a guess. Meanwhile, whose command center is this? Beige Carpet looking to secure some more resources for Team Terran. I don't... Just at this point, I don't... Take a guess. The Banshees don't quite... Wait, do they have cloak? They do. Are the Thors here? They are not. This could be a disaster for Star Flocky. The moment, finally, they were waiting for. The Banshees have no one to contest them. The tanks are forced to unsiege. And what has stood for most of the game is forced to retreat. Where are the Thors? They're on the other side of the map. They're not the most agile creatures. The tank count being decimated. So many tanks have already died. How many will survive is a more relevant question. Meanwhile, Beige Carpet rolls across the map. A single parting tank will find a lot of kills, surprisingly. Oh, almost gets that last shot off. The Thors take down the Banshees, but so many tanks in the process. Meanwhile, battlecruisers versus mass Zergling. It could go either way. The Thors, no! The move command! To their death! It all falls apart! Now there's no anti-air and very limited anti-ground. Oh, he retreats. But the door shuts behind them. There's no planetaries. There's no tanks. There's nothing left. Meanwhile, the Zerglings are in the main. What? The Thors are the last hold. There are more Thors in production, but against tanks, the Zerglings, the battlecruisers have to jump back to defend the Zerglings. The tanks, where will they go? Will they go back, or will they go forth? Against, well, the Thors, the tanks aren't siege. The tanks aren't siege. The Thors are blasting. They're doing it for, no, the move command again. It's a disaster. Flocky at 37, 31. His supply plummets to equal to Starwalkers, which is an incredible sign. He has the money, but he doesn't have the gas. A series of incredibly unfortunate events. The Banshees. Starwalker comes in with his last and his best effort. A group of Zerglings rampaging throughout the mining bases. Battlecruisers slower than Zerglings. This is a science fact. The Zerglings looking for anything they can get done, but Beige Carpet has money in the bank, even if somehow this army died. Flocky knocked back to the Stone Age. Builds 6 barracks, not ready to give it up quite yet. A combined 29 supply. More pings. Those are +3 armor SCVs, so it takes a while for them to die. But Starwalker, doing his best with what he has, runs the battlecruisers around. Is there a dream? They're on the chase. I'm not... So, how the turntables have turned. Long game, says Flea. Very astute. Was that the first of all the best? After 58.5 minutes, Flocky with the yeah. Oh, and he gives him the heartbreaking triple dot. The ellipsis, as they are eclipsed. Even 85 to 130k resources lost, but they grabbed up those minerals. Sick game, says Beige Carpet in Allies chat. A battle. A real battle. Not just a siege tank standoff, but a true war between these players. Battlecruisers, all the rest of the gas was put into the cruisers. The planetary gonna rack up. I might have got a tank killer too. Flocky is making unupgraded Marines. One last stand. He's got as many SCVs as he started with. He doesn't even really have that many minerals. Sick game, lads. Beige Carpet is saying, I've got this one in the bag. Does he? Probably. But Flocky is not ready to surrender. Starwalker still looking for an opportunity as one drone. Where is his drone? That's an interesting place for that drone to be. But the Marines! Cloak Banshees there to meet them. There are scans and the tanks. Now, a little bit of return fire here after how this game has gone. We've passed the 1 hour marker. You got it now. I don't know if that's close or close. It was close. And now, while most that might sound indignant, he's right. It was. Team Terran finishes the fight. But at what cost? 413 Marines for Flea. 468 for Beige Carpet. 45 for Flocky to top it off. Nearly 1,000 Marines. Hundreds, nearly 200, actually over 200,000 resources lost. Multiple players knocked back down to nothing. A feature-length experience. A moment. After 1 hour, Team Terran finally finds the opportunity. Flocky held strong, and you might be like, well, Starwalker didn't do much. No, Starwalker was the support player. He's not there to carry. You have to understand how these things work. And nobody even wanted to report their teammate at the end. So, that's the true beauty. Thank you to Stealth Duck for bringing us that. And for the players, of course, as well. Obviously. Thank you. Like and subscribe and comment. And how has your life changed because of this game? Well, with that, thank you for watching. Bronze League Heroes.